This Big Mac meal here in Turkey costs 33 Turkish lira. That's about $3.41 at today's exchange rate. Pretty reasonable for McDonald's, but consider this. If you're earning minimum wage here, this meal is gonna cost you the equivalent of working more than 3 hours. But that's just McDonald's. What about other things like everyday items? How many hours of work does it take to afford those? 1 hour, an hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours, 1 day and a half, 1 week, 3 weeks, 2 months, 9 months. And if you want to be able to afford this car, working minimum wage here, that will take you 31 years.
It's actually getting worse and worse.
Turkey's currency is falling drastically.
The buying power is going down also. It's decreasing.
Inflation is soaring.
Dollar currency is getting higher.
All this means daily life is becoming harder and harder.
My money doesn't have any value.
And its people, especially young generation, are frustrated.
It's so hard to be a young people.
This is literally the worst time to be a young person in Turkey.
It's really hard to live here as a young person.
This is a story about so much more than McDonald's or even economics. It's about how people are struggling to make ends meet as their buying power falls and its young generation dreams of a life abroad.
Money is worthless and life in Turkey is worthless. It's so hard to live in Turkey, actually.
That's Batakan. He was working at a jewelry store when I met him just 6 months ago. He was earning $15 per day.
Last year, I earned money $20 for a day, but this year, $15.
But today, he's now earning less than $9 a day.
So many young people has no money. They can't drink something, they can't eat something, get outside. It's so hard for them.
6 years ago, if you had 30 Turkish lira, you could exchange that for $10. But now, if you wanted $10, you would need to fork over 100 Turkish lira for the same amount. The currency has plunged more than 30% this year. But even before this year, things were not good.
Since 2010 or so, the currency's just gone upwards, and I mean it just keeps on going upwards. So
it happened like a few years ago, where one day it just got to 8, I think, not even 10, but 8. And that day, the politicians were speaking about something, so that's why it got that high.
President Erdogan and the Turkish government, I have a message. Release Pastor Andrew Brunson now, or be prepared to face the consequences.
She's referring to a moment when the Turkish lira dropped the most it had in nearly 20 years because of tension between President Trump and Turkey's president.
Turkish prison to the White House in 24 hours. That's not bad.
I really can't forget that day because at the time the dollar just increased a lot, and my dad told me that we can't afford your college tuition anymore.
Since then, the currency began falling as investors globally questioned the country's stability. As the Turkish lira becomes weaker and weaker, more people are looking to buy homegrown products instead of importing from other countries. That's just one way to keep prices stable. And homegrown bananas are just one example. So even though I paid twice as much for these bananas, they're actually clearly not as fresh because they were imported from Costa Rica. But I am curious to see which one tastes better, the ones that are from Turkey or the ones that are imported. I honestly didn't think that Turkey had the climate to even grow bananas, so the fact that they're selling homegrown bananas is quite interesting. Let's give it a try. This definitely tastes different, but I guess some people, if they can afford it, are willing to pay for the imported bananas. Amidst the currency crisis, inflation here is surging, hitting 20%, which makes everyday prices a lot more expensive. Remember earlier in the grocery store? Imagine working 2 weeks of your life just to be able to afford this.
The thing is that the basic things, such as cheese, bread, maybe is actually got twice of the price of it. The basic things which you can roll on your life got higher. Transportation prices are getting higher. For the people who live just everyday life, they're running their life more.
1 lira means nothing in Turkey now. But past times, it has a lot meaning. Like you can buy some stuff with 1 lira, but now it's nothing.
They can't buy anything. They can't buy any of the houses. You know, the rent prices, they are also getting higher and higher. It was 2,000 Turkish lira per month. This year it was 4 or 4.5.
So why exactly is all this happening? Turkey's economy is actually growing by a whopping 20% at one point this year, making it the biggest growth compared to any other major country except for China. This happened especially as many of its COVID restrictions were lifted.
But if the economy is growing, then what exactly is the problem?
Well, you can call that partially, as some economists say, an exchange rate illusion. In terms of GDP per capita, Turkey has dropped 40% over the past 8 years. During COVID, its government was helping a lot of businesses and citizens, pumping a lot more money into the economy. This is partially why its currency is weakening and inflation is soaring.
Turkey has a big economy. It's the 20th largest economy in the world. But when you divide that by its massive population size, it becomes number 91.
See, usually to slow down inflation, economists say you should raise interest rates, to keep the amount of money limited. But despite what's happening, Turkey's central bank's most recent move was to cut interest rates, hoping to encourage investment.
I think it's because of the politics right now. Everybody's just thinking about money nowadays, but if it changes, it has to be like the politics should change, and after that money would change, and after that everybody will get better, I think.
Turkey's president has fired the head of its central bank multiple times in just a few years. There have been 4 governors now, raising concern about any sustainable plan.
Surely because of the decisions of the government. I'm not talking about the country. I'm talking about the specifically government. People who runs the country, who rule the country, are deciding their decisions upon their daily decision.
All these money issues are impacting jobs.
My friends, who's interior architects, and now they're working at cafes, and one of them asked me for a job from my dad.
Job owners are paying little monies for the students, because like for an hour, I know some guys, they earn 9 or 10 Turkish lira. Wow. It's actually nothing.
At the time of making this video, that's equal to less than $10 a day.
Let's say like I wanted to have my own place by now, but there's no way that I can afford it now.
Mostly students can't go out. Mostly young people stay at home and doing some jobs or works, but they can't go out.
I mean, all of my friends and I are just like looking for jobs that pay in dollar, because that's the only way to just survive here.
Owning a car here has become near impossible as Turkey's government imposes high taxes on importing cars. In fact, these taxes make Turkey one of the most expensive places to own a car.
You can't buy a car anymore, yeah. The new cars are starting from 300,000 Turkish lira. It's so much money, yeah. It's impossible to buy a car.
Things are similar for Apple products, where Turkey has imposed a nearly 30% tax on Apple products.
The Apple is crazy in Turkey because like I got this phone from New York about like 8,000 lira, but if I happen to get this phone in Turkey, it will cost me about like 16,000 lira.
So what's next for Turkey?
I want to go abroad, but my money getting lower. My savings are getting lower and lower. And actually, I don't know what can I do.
I might think to go to US again, because everything's so expensive, and when you we earn dollars and euros, it doesn't mean anything. Like, you spend so much money for everything.
Our school is right there, and it's called the German school. So we are going to Germany, hopefully, getting out of our country to study in Germany. I think I'm going to live my life in Germany.
I want that the government will be changed, but I'm not sure about that still.
They don't know how to pull Gen Z into their side, so I think they will be going off in 2023.
A lot of times as we talk, you're laughing.
Yeah.
It seems like it would be stressful. It's money, it's life.
It's like, what can I do? I live every day in Turkey. You can't always be sad. You can't always be moody. You have to be happy, because you can't sleep.
Are you worried the currency will get even worse?
No, I don't think so. That's the worst times, but we will get used to it. It never gets better. People just get used to it. Like, we just live like that.